So I've been watching recently on Hulu. I've already been following the story for years, but I finally watched it on Hulu that came out at the end of February about Rubyfranke and her very, very, very obviously involved creepy husband. Let's just cut all the bullshit and the abuse and all of that aside. Let's take a look at how odd it was in the way that he moved, about how he moved during that entire thing. You just admitted wholeheartedly that you agreed to leaving your wife and your 6 children, and that was it. You just left. Why would you comply with that? Why would you listen to your wife and allow her to not let you see your children? At certain points of the documentary, it started to become very apparent that he was involved, especially in the most recent one where he claims this, profound innocence. I find it really, really weird that you maneuvered in the way that you did and operated in the way that you did, of excusing yourself from the home for over a year and not having any contact or seeing your children in over a year. But you said on the docuseries that you were aware that the relationship that Jody and Ruby had together was far more than a sister or friendship relationship. They were intimate with each other. The daughter exposed what she found in the bedroom, etc. So for you to tell me that you were just okay, I'll get the out, leaving my 6 kids behind, knowing that my wife is actively cheating on me with another woman, and you were just okay with succumbing to that. At no point did you plan on returning, figure shit out. You didn't even blink about it. You were just yeah, she told me to leave, I left, and never came back for over a year. That's a terrible father, okay? First of all. Second of all, it's weird as shit that you exploited your kids actively with Ruby, and now that she's actively exploiting your younger children, and Chad and Sherry were kicked out of the family home when he was told to leave as well. There weren't red flags going off in his head. I don't care how fucking brainwashed you claim to be. If you are in an abusive and narcissistic and manipulative relationship, no matter what form it is, you're going to know deception when you hear it and see it inadvertently. At what point did it dawn on you that as a father, you don't abandon your kids, no matter what, no matter if your wife gets pissed off at you and tells you to leave? I mean, it's he knew what was going on, and he exited stage right because it was the easy way out for him. He knew that he wouldn't be charged legally, and I'll cover that in a moment, but the fact that he's still walking and is not in jail himself is really bizarre. And I think that the docuseries is completely a lie. I think that they're covering up for a bigger issue at hand, which is the dad, and to what degree did he play a role. Everybody wants to claim that he was in the sidelines, trying. No, you cut your own kids off, and they even tried to reach out to you and you blocked them. The day your oldest children get kicked out of the house, and you do too, and they try to reach out to you and you block them, your own children, because they're worried for the safety of their younger siblings. None of this was even thought of in his own brain. So then we fast forward to he gets called into the police station, and he doesn't just come forward and say, look, my wife told me to come and get the kids. And then he left out all of the possession stuff to the police, and he's uncovering it now in this docuseries. If that were the case, don't you think that you would shed light to the fact of my wife isn't well? She's mentally unstable, and this woman who is counseling her and is just one giant fraud is also, cahooting with my wife to basically kill our children because they think that these women were completely in belief in this Mormon anxiety filled way that their children, or Jody thought that Ruby's children, especially her youngest two, Eve and Russell, were possessed by demons, when the real demon is Jody and Ruby. Also, in hindsight, this dude, this husband, Kevin, is like, you know, this feels like a sick joke. Like, I feel like they were lying to me and they were trying to get Ruby in trouble, and, you know, I just wanted to protect her. So you just admitted that the reason why you were coming here wasn't to get to the bottom of the child abuse and all the horrendous things that your wife and this estranged woman have done. You're just trying to get your kids, take them back to the abusive place. Like, he was fully prepared to take the kids back and bring them back to Ruby for her to continue to abuse them again, all in the name of love, because he just wanted his wife, right? He just wanted the love and the approval from his wife. That's a crock of shit, Kevin, and you know it is. And the fact that you stand in front of millions upon millions of people and lie and say that you knew nothing and that, you know, you were just trying to get your kids back. No, you were trying to protect your weird wife, and you were going to take them back to the abuser to continue to chain them up, and Ruby would just manipulate you again alongside her little, you know, weird sidekick Jody to get in your brain even more. And yet you want to say like, oh, I can't believe I was brainwashed. Like, you would have let her continue to do whatever she said because you love her so much. Like, so let's just say that the investigation was halted much like the first time. Not enough evidence, whatever the case was. They couldn't do a search of the house. They didn't have a search warrant, X, Y, and Z. They didn't have probable cause, etc. He would have continued to gaslight, manipulate, exploit, and side with his abusive, vindictive, and evil and demonic wife for the sheer fact of loving her, because love to him was more important than the active role that he was contributing alongside her, whether he wants to claim to be innocent or not. He absolutely is not, because it took neighbors, concerned people, concerned citizens to be like, yo, my dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're not even here. We've been calling your line and you go as far to block us when we're concerned for your children's safety, and you don't want any. He legit went to the police station, talked to the police, and he was still cognizantly listening to her and backing her up. And in his mind, when they're talking about all this horrific detail of what she and Jody have done to his children, she legit has brainwashed this man who is capable of thinking for his own and should have woken up a long time ago and spotted every single red flag, including the ones that he created, and stopped and thought, wow, maybe I have believed her way too long and I need to take this seriously because it's involving my children and their livelihood. But no, he continued to validate her delusion, wasn't completely upfront and you know, transparent with the police. And now he wants to come back and be like, oh yeah, I had no idea. Like, I was brainwashed. You're right. You were so brainwashed, Kevin, that your neighbors, your concerned families, your concerned friends have been reaching out to you for over a year, which I consider, when someone says over a year, that's going on 2 years. That's a year and a half, a year and 7 months, like whatever, that is a year and some change. So much time has gone by. He has all of his neighbors, all of these concerned people blocked, but now he's recognized that he was brainwashed because these people are like, Kevin, you're brainwashed. Like, Kevin, you didn't realize that this that you were submerged in, like knee deep, head, everything deep, like that this wasn't okay. Like, it took other people face to face, your neighbors being like, look, dude, this is what really happened and occurred, for you to be like, oh, I was brainwashed. You would have continued the delusion You would have. The really sick part is if he was able to take those kids back to Ruby and back to Jody, and somehow she manipulated him or brainwashed him even further to bring those kids back into her possession and Jody's possession, they would be dead. And he would have absolutely done that. Because he claims that he loved her and cared about her so much that you don't even give a fuck or love your own kids. All 6 of them. Including Eve and Russell, who were the youngest, who got abused the worst. So you're sitting here and telling me that if it didn't take your neighbors and concerned people around you being like, wake the fuck up, that you wouldn't have woken up. And that's what scares me, is you're literally walking free in a crazy world, and you were easily that manipulated, then you could easily be manipulated to do it again. Like, my guy, you literally walked into the police station. You did not believe a word they said because Ruby planted the seed into your head. Already you're like confused as fuck as to why you're kicked out for a year and a half. You knew damn well why you left and you never came back, which makes that your fault as a fucking father who has sperm, who creates a child just as much as a woman does. Secondly, you came in knowing the exact situations of everything. You came in thinking that your kids were actually possessed and the police were going to tell you that. So you're just walking free, not behind bars, and the cops bought that. And now Hulu is promoting your innocence. Like, it's a crock of shit. It's a money-making scheme. They're lying for profit on your behalf, and you should be sitting in jail. You know exactly what was happening. You thought that the cops were against Ruby going into it. You're free to live out another full-blown delusion and hurt other people in the process of it. That's what irks me the most, that he's like walking free. Like, this dude believed every delusion and claims and admits that he was brainwashed, but it took outside fucking reinforcement to finally wake this man up. So it was never going to occur to him, oh, hey, yeah, I'm being actively brainwashed and the shit that I'm doing is wrong. He walked into that police station with full intent on backing up his wife, who's about to be in jail for the rest of her life for aggravated child abuse. And he's fully backing her delusions up. And he gets to walk free too. If he's backing up her delusions and has been for all of this time and was going to go back to her knowing what she did to his own children and hers, is sick. He is sick. And it's all just one giant lie. If he is so brainwashed, then the police have a lot more to uncover and discover about Kevin Franke. Because the man is not innocent. The man has never been 100% transparent. There's so much about him that is left out in all of the docuseries. Everything that I've heard about him is just a crock of shit. You had full intent on continuing these delusions and continuing to hurt people with no repercussion whatsoever. You went into it thinking it was a giant lie, thinking that, you know, the police are just after your mission of promoting God, when you were doing the opposite of godly things. You're a very ungodly man. You abandoned your kids, and now you're trying to like backpedal, and you know, you're trying to stall for time when people are seeing through your I just think anybody who is going to the police with the delusion and conspiracy theories that she had said prior to him showing up that her kids were possessed is what makes me cringe inside. Like, you were going to go in there and fluff your way out of it and get Ruby back in your presence to continue and abuse your kids. You're sick. I don't believe you. Goodbye.